Welcome, welcome. We're live at the Hurt So Good quarter with the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll be talking today a little bit about what's going on in that Philly town. I'm Doc Hurst, and I want you to look on your screen. You'll see our Facebook page, which is Hurt So Good. You also see where you can get in contact with us. Go to that Facebook page to stay in tune. Every broadcast we do, we're gonna go back up and print it on there, and you'll be able to see it on our Facebook page. You see the directions below of how you can get to it. Tap onto it so you can get with us and see what we're putting out. This is our fourth week with the Philadelphia Eagles playing on Sunday. It was a great game, and there's a few things I want to talk about myself. We'll get into that a little later on about what was going on in the game and what we think about it. I'm here with Mr. Izzy, and he's going to give his input and things that he wants to say. So this is right after the San Francisco 49ers just played. I think it was the Los Angeles, is it the Chargers? I think that's what it is, but the Los Angeles Chargers. It was a good game. San Francisco standing strong. But we're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. They are the only undefeated team in the NFL at this point. So that's a great thing for Jalenhurts and the crew. But we're here at Hurts So Good, and we're going to just turn over Mr. Izzy and let him give us his input.
Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Izzy Hertz, better known as Hertz Business. We talk about Hertz Business. Everyone knows pretty much where we're at. We're still undefeated. The season is going how it's going, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Feel free to like, comment, share. So that's where we're at. We're undefeated. So I'll turn it back over to you. What's your whole take on the Eagles currently going into next week?
Well, I feel like there were things that was happening in the first game to the second to the third, and now into the fourth. And every place where we made mistakes or we weren't really quite kicking, we start picking it up. So even though this week we had a lot of injuries, we had a lot of go down. We had Slay go down. We had some more guys go down. I think we had Maddox didn't play. He was hurt. But even with all the injuries, the team came out. They played real good, and that's just a sign of saying, hey, in the rotation, the next man up. So there was no real serious injuries, and so that was a good thing. But throughout the game, they improved, and what we were looking at was the improvement in the third and the fourth quarter, because it seems like the last two games, that's where the Eagles had kind of stalled, and they wanted to see could they get that right. The weather was very trying and tough, and with that, we still managed to pull out a win. The running back, he was able to come out and do great. I think it was Miles Sanders. But one thing I want to say, that the problem that I saw, and I want to address this, I saw three problems. One was the going for the 2 points. That wasn't, I don't think it was wise, and think it wasn't necessary. Also, the play where they took the points off the board, they had kicked the 3 pointer, and they took the penalty, and then they went back up to only get it back, but at that point they were up by six, and so I didn't think that was a good move. And then they had to waste the time out just to keep that end of the field. Had they chosen just to keep those points, that would have been a wrap, and they still would have had an extra uh, timeout. And the last one was, I think, when they were like 2 minutes left, and they went and tried to kick a field goal. No, they chose not to kick a field goal. They tried to go for it, and that didn't turn out good. But Bradbury stepped up, and he did it. Now, the reason I want to bring up those three things, because listen, when we look back, we see who made what kind of plays, and the defense wasn't doing good. This would be before the beginning of the year, and they stepped up. They were looking for Jalen to step up his game, and he stepped up. So now this is on the coaches. All three of those plays I saw was on the coaching, and you cannot expect to get better, because after each game, Jalen came forth, and I know others saw it, and they talked about, yeah, we won, great, we won, but look at this is the problem. So now I want to look at the coaches, because these are fairly new coaches. This is their second year, so you gotta realize that those three calls that those coaches called were not the right calls. It could have put them in a position where they could have lost the game. So the coaches need to go back and say, "Hey, look, we need to do better play calling, better timeout management, and they need to step it up because the teammates, you can't look for just the players because the players aren't the only ones. It's the coaches bringing in the plays. It's the coaches that basically going to have the last say pretty much. So therefore, I want the coaches to realize, go back, look at the film. You may be saying it, but look, just like we say, they didn't score any points in the third and the fourth quarter. Okay, that's on the team. But now we can say these plays y'all called were not the right calls. And so that's my point I wanted to put out. Yes, it's a win. I'm glad you won. But as you go further, coaches, you're going to have to step up your game. Now back to you, Mr. Izzy.
Yeah, I think I have the same sentiment. The coaching decisions in critical times of the game, especially at those points, it makes a huge difference. And I'm only saying that to say this here. They were down 14 to nothing, and the coaching was pretty much fine. It was just play. And as you played the game, got back into it, and before you know it, you had a tie game and you had the lead. So you have a good point. If the Eagles would have lost the game, it wouldn't have been because of the play. It would have been because of the calls that you left opportunities where you're pretty much almost about to give away a win because the same way the Jaguars had mistakes with their players, we have mistakes with their coaching. Got to figure out the severity of the kicker's injury because that's special teams. We already have a kicker. He's got a punt block before. He's a little bit limping. And in close decided games, everything's not going to be a big lead. So I think the things to look forward to is the coaching, number one, um, the health of a lot of these players, specifically for me, the kicker. He's my main concern. And I think maybe the third concern is probably going to be just just um, just moving forward, continuing to play well because it looks like a lot of the NFL commentators and analysts they're jumping on the bandwagon for the Eagles, and you're the only undefeated team. So, what's your take on the way that the sports world is talking about the Eagles currently?
Everybody coming into more of a positive light. There's only a few outliers, and we know who they are. Matter of fact, I'll just put it like this: we know who he is because it's mainly just one guy talking a bunch of noise. But like I say, I look at, consider the messenger. Consider the messenger, and we know we look back throughout reporting history, we can see that I believe it was who was it? The guy that to be on with Shannon Sharp. What's his name? Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless was pretty much hated by a lot of sports fans because of his take on the players, and that's how he became famous through the negativity. And so, therefore, we know the next one came along with Stephen A. Smith, and he is always noticed that he talks about Philly and how he got his prominence in writing through being part of the Inquirer magazine. And so that's his claim to fame. And so they were really looked at negatively. And this other guy, I'm not gonna call his name at this time. I'll get on his head a little later on. But that's what he is. He's the negativity. But I always say look at the background because we found out about Pistol Pete or Water Pistol Pete, as Guy put it. And we also found about Stephen A. He championed the Great Trash magazine, as if it was the New York Times. So when we look at the background, we consider the sources. So when we look at this guy who played 10 games in the NFL, lost all 10 games he played in, and they booted him out the first year, and yet he's supposed to be the whiz or the wizard of football. I would say I probably got as a better track record than him because I never played, but I never lost and I never won. But he lost 10 games and never won. And that's what I'm gonna say about this guy for right now. So I don't want to get on him. I want to just take a look for a moment. I'm gonna play a little bit of we're gonna play a little bit of our guy, what's his name? Brunson. I have Brunson on this because he's all hyped up and he's excited. And I'm gonna just play a minute of him going off, and I want you to just give us a feedback of what you think about old Brunson, and just give me a second real quick here. Okay.
Seeing your team start 4-0. First of all, let's start right there. Let's start right there. Wherever you want to take this conversation, we can take it. From top to bottom, Jalenhurts has been the best quarterback in the National Football League for the first 4 games of the season. Ain't no way you can break that cookie down and not get that result. It is what it is. We ain't got to get super analytical. We're going to wait till the All-22 come out tomorrow, and then me and Philly Mike, we're going to talk about the All-22, how we do every week. But as of right now, my initial reaction is that this team is for real. If you follow me on Twitter at @low_Brunson, we went down 14 points. I said we got to shake back. I want to see how we respond. And we responded like guys that are on a mission, man. Everybody that Howie Roseman has signed has come and put up a valiant effort to make sure that we know why they were here. Ain't nobody wasting no money on my roster. Ain't nobody overpaid on my roster. Everybody doing what they supposed to do to make sure that this engine move in the direction we all wanted to move. Miles Sanders, never seen him with 27 carries in his career. A lot of people have been saying he's too small. 156 yards of total offense, 2 touchdowns. And he was involved in the passing game. Stop it. Hassan Reddick out there getting strip sacks. This is what we paid him to do. Bradbury, pick. We paid him to do that. Gardner Johnson, filling in when guys are down. Come on, man. This team is ready. This defensive line, nobody's running. Nobody ain't abused us on the ground since week 1. We was rusty week 1, man. We ain't worried about that. It's been a host of guys trying to tell me all season that my quarterback ain't good. But Jalenhurts, your quarterback. A lot of y'all wish y'all had Jalenhurts. I swear to God, if Jalenhurts was the Commanders' quarterback, they wouldn't be 1-3, losing 3 straight. The Giants and Daniel Jones, congratulations. Ain't they 3-1? Congratulations. Has Daniel Jones had a 200-yard passing game yet? No. So you know that's not going to last long. Meanwhile, the guy that everybody telling us can't throw ain't throw nothing under 200 yards yet. We got to step on the opposition neck and prove who we are.
All right, is yo.
Every week.
What you say about it?
Colin.
I appreciate the sentiment of support for Jalen because the Philadelphia the fans are very two-faced. From the moment he's been drafted, he was the worst thing that they could have got. And you still have people who just doubt him. And so pretty much Brunson is doing a good thing. He's pretty much stepping out there and saying, hey, Hurts is who he believes in and he supports. He likes the way he plays, the way his stats. And it's pretty much working out. The only thing I didn't agree with too much is he's saying that no one on this team has been overpaid. I could pretty much it's not my time to speak on that, but we know for sure somebody's underpaid. You got a quarterback out there. Jalen needs to get compensated, but I said I wasn't going to go on in the details, but I don't want to continue to look into their contracts and because there's no specific players that's underachieving. But when it goes back to the pay, like I said, that's a whole nother situation that we previously spoke on. So as for Brunson, I'm happy. He's trying his best to support Jalen, but he needs to know that no matter what Jalen does, you can be undefeated. As he saw as he's leaving the parking lot, everyone's not going to agree with you. So you just got to stand on what you believe and keep it moving forward. What's your whole take on Brunson?
Well, Brunson, I think I commented on him well over a year ago. He was part of the guys at the time didn't believe in Jalen, and I let him have it too. Almost all of them up there, I let them have it years ago, and they probably remember my post and saw it. But I always had believing when he was in college, and I saw, hey, he's going to go somewhere. He's going to do something, and he's doing it. And a lot of things I was upset about his draft, where he was drafted at, but I look at it now. I think it probably was the best thing for him, because had he went to a team that wouldn't have been as good by being higher on the draft pick, you might be getting hurt and damaged, like we find the two picks that went before him. They suffered injuries. We look at Tua now. Tua has these concussions and stuff, and he's on the verge of maybe it being the end of his career. You had the other guy going out thinking he had an ACL, and he's coming back. So therefore, Jalen hasn't had a major injury, so he went to a better team. So all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And I do believe Jalen has a greater purpose than people can believe. So with all that being said, I think it's all working out fine. We still got the haters. But with that, I want people to go subscribe, share, and just come on to our site, go to our webpage. And I know you're starting a webpage. And also you have you have a YouTube, right?
Yeah, I have a YouTube, Izzy Hurts. So you guys come on over there, come like, come comment, come speak your opinion. Come on over to Izzy Hurts on YouTube.
Okay, that's IZZYHURTS.
Yep, Hurts Business on YouTube. So hey, want to talk about the Eagles and 17 birds or whatever you want to talk about? Hey,
Yes.
we're here for it.
Yeah, like I say, we'll do a broadcast. We'll be doing it every week. We'll do a broadcast right before we go into the game that's coming up, and that's going to be with the Cardinals. And after that Cardinals game, we'll come back and we'll talk. And so we'll repeat that cycle. During the bye week, we probably just come on a few times, as much as you want to hear, as much as we want to talk about it. But this is going to be a away game, and we're playing with a quarterback who is also a dual threat. You know, he can run and he can pass, and we're looking at a pretty sharp team. So each time we're getting better and better, and we're stepping it up. But like I say, we're not going to just look at the team and the teams, the guys, individuals, but we also going to look at the coaches. The coaches got to step up their game. The players continue to step up their game, and then that way they're gonna win more games. But they got to be honest. And I'm not being critical of them. I'm glad they won, but I saw the weaknesses. I've seen them strengthening up, and all they got to do is continue it. So no matter where the weakness is, you got to acknowledge, hey, this is weak. We need to strengthen that. So with that being said, Izzy, I'm gonna let you say what you have to say, and then I'll be signing out.
Well, pretty much. I don't have too much to say. My overall feeling is great win. I've seen a lot of great locker room camaraderie, a lot of familiar faces from the coach. The players were able to pretty much all reunite and reminisce over the good times, either being drafted or winning a Super Bowl with the Eagles. So things are getting good. I'm going to speak the same sentiment. Work on your weakness. Work on your weakness. Even though you're undefeated, I think when you do that, that's when you're betting 1,000, regardless of the score. So that goes for coaches and players. Work on your weaknesses, and that's all I got to say as far as for this weekend. I'll be getting back on live Izzy Hurts soon with D Hurts.
Okay, so we'll let you know. Birds of a feather, they fly together. So, like I said, I'm gonna change that up. See ya, and I might want to be you.
And I'm not Denzel Washington, and you not either.
What's his name?
Farley.
Farley.
500.
Yeah.
And he's smoking on his stogie, whatever he's doing. So
yeah, and he says Dallas still stinks. All right, we'll see you later. Subscribe to me, like, and help and support. See you later.